Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning, guys.
Andrew, I think I've missed the instructions. Who is going to move the slides?
I'm hoping that I am going to do it. I've put all the slides into a single slide deck, and so I'm going to have it on my computer. If it's possible for each speaker to take control of the slides when it's their turn to present, then I'm happy for them to do that so that they can progress the slides at their own speed. But Federica, I know you've only got a couple of slides, so I'm happy to do that for you. Jonathan, Andrew, you're probably more experienced Zoom users than I am. And so is it straightforward for me to give control to others to progress the slides, or I'm happy to just click the button if people say slide, slide, slide?
What we can do, Andrew, is do you want to see if you can share your slides just now if you have access? If not, myself and Andrew will change the settings to make sure you do.
And I will do that. Bear with me 1 second. I'm also going to share with sound. So hopefully you should see.
Yep, that's appeared on screen.
I'm just going to minimize for a second. Okay. Can you? Oh, Karen Barnett has joined Teams. Let's message Karen and say that it's on Zoom.
In the meantime, thank you to all our partners that have joined today's webinar from all across the world. If you're happy to do so, please do share with us where you're joining from.
Gabriel is online and says he cannot hear anything. And is anybody having the same issue?
I can hear now.
Oh, you can hear now.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Right, bear with me just one more minute, everybody. So, Jonathan, Andrew, are we ready to begin?
Pretty much. I think the invite list was slightly larger than this, but we do have 51 participants in total, which is a good number.
Okay. I had the latest update that I had from Kirsty was that around 100 agents had registered, so maybe a few will still join over the next few minutes. Shall we hang on for another 2 or 3 minutes to see if anybody else tunes in? And
Sure.
We're still expecting a few colleagues from Dundee as well. So we'll give them a few extra minutes if that's all right. We'll maybe get going in 2 or 3 minutes time.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Andrew, I think I've noticed I've uploaded the wrong slide deck. I'm really, really sorry.
Okay. Well, Kate, I have got a slide deck for you and Cabral, but if you want to, when it
How
comes
many
time for
slides
the
are in
Centre
it?
for Medical Education, I can just stop sharing my screen and you can share yours.
Okay.
Is that
Right.
okay?
Yeah, I'll just check. Sorry, Cabral. Can rely on me to make a boob.
Rather than I've actually I've compiled one master slide deck from all of the presentations that I received. So Kate, even if you were to send me yours just now, I wouldn't
Okay.
be able to integrate it into this one slide deck.
That,
So I
that's
think
fine.
it's easier. If it's okay with you, just to share it from your computer.
Yeah, okie dokie.
But if you would rather email it to me, then that's absolutely fine.
I share the Zoom link, Jonathan, because there's two of my colleagues trying to get in.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Jennifer, I'll send that to you on a Teams chat right now, and you can then forward it to whoever you need to forward it to. Would that be all right?
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Jennifer, I've shared it on our Teams link.
Okay, I won't bother then.
Thanks, Andrew.
Sure thing.
On the
Well, it seems like we've got a real great mix of people joining us. We've got people from Thailand, Malaysia, Egypt, Pakistan. Quite a few from Pakistan. Amazing to see.
Great.
Indonesia.
I wish I could say hello to all of you in your native languages, but I'm afraid I'm not going to embarrass myself or you by even attempting that.
India. Oh, hi, Jawad. Thanks for joining.
Right, I think, unless anybody objects, I think I'm going to get started. It's now, in the UK, it's now 8:37, so we're a few minutes beyond
It's
our
nice to
scheduled
see
start time.
everybody from all over the world joining us. Andrew, what do you think? Should we make a start? It's 8 minutes past.
That's just what I was saying, Federica. I don't know whether there's a delay on
I
the
can't
line, but
hear
that's
you.
exactly what I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're about 8 minutes past our scheduled start time, and so I'm going to kick things off. Thank you everybody for joining us this morning. Thank you colleagues from the University of Dundee. We've got representation from all of the academic programmes within the top postgraduate division of the School of Medicine, and we've also got colleagues from globalisation and international engagement, as well as senior programme administrators. And most importantly, we're joined by many of our colleagues from around the world who do business with us as agents, and we're delighted that you're able to join us this morning. I've asked each of the programme teams to prepare a 3 or 4 minute presentation for you. So hopefully everybody's going to stick fairly close to that, and we will have plenty of time for discussion and questions after the presentations. And since I am speaking, I'm going to kick things off. So this morning, welcome everybody. Are the slides progressing on your screens now? Can someone give me a wave to confirm that? Fantastic. Okay, welcome. I know that many of the agents online have done business with Dundee for some years. Some, I believe, are new. Some have been doing business with us for a while. So welcome or welcome back, depending on where you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This morning, we've got presentations from, as I mentioned, all the programmes across the top postgraduate division in the School of Medicine. I'm not going to read them one by one here just now, but instead I'm just going to begin with the first programme talk, which is associated with the Masters in Orthopaedic Technology, Motion Analysis and Movement Rehabilitation. Okay, so the first thing that I should say is that I work within a department called the University Department of Orthopaedics and Trauma Surgery. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because I do think that some of you have done business with the university for some years, and you're probably familiar with some outgoing master's programs, which are the Masters in Motion Analysis, Orthopaedic and Rehabilitation Technology, and Sports Biomechanics and Rehabilitation. These programs are outgoing. This is the last year they're going to run. We're not recruiting to them anymore. These programs are being replaced with a single new offering, which is called Orthopaedic Technology, Motion Analysis and Movement Rehabilitation, or the MSc OMAR, as we are calling it, to be a bit more succinct. We've designed this program to maintain all of the best features of the outgoing programs and to include new choice for students, as well as clinical components that they have not previously enjoyed. So if anybody is familiar with the outgoing ORT program, the outgoing Orthopaedic and Rehabilitation Technology, or the outgoing Motion Analysis, this is the new program that is replacing it. And we want everybody to be doing business according to this new offering. We're recruiting now to start in September 2025. The MSc OMAR combines specialist areas of orthopaedic and musculoskeletal importance. The ortho and rehab technology can help with diagnosis and treatment of patients. Motion analysis monitors and assesses human movement for a variety of purposes. And movement rehab uses biomechanics to help improve function and performance. It can be involved with injury risk reduction and clinical management of patients and clients. So combining those areas of orthopaedic and musculoskeletal importance, we also place a very high premium on practical skills and provide access to a wide range of state-of-the-art technology. We allow students to choose topics and modules that are of the most interest to them. We explore research within the field and provide a competitive opportunity to participate in a clinical observership scheme within the UK NHS. These are just some illustrations of some of the technology that I referred to a moment ago. I'm not going to go through this in detail in the interests of time, but links to some of the technology vendors are available from the website of the programme. So this programme was designed using input from a wide range of people, including students and employers. It's taught by a range of academic and clinical experts. We would offer that it's particularly suited to applicants with a background in physiotherapy, prosthetics, orthotics, rehabilitation, some other health professions, as well as biomedical engineering, sport and exercise science, and sports therapy. After graduation, recent UDOTS graduates have gone on to careers within healthcare in the UK and internationally, to study at PhD level, again within the UK and internationally, to secure jobs within the private sector in healthcare and technology, and even to launch their own spin-out and consultancy companies. All of the information about the programme is available online, so please visit our web pages or contact us using ortho@dundee.ac.uk. Thank you very much. We're not going to take questions on a programme by programme basis. We're going to take questions at the end after all of the presentations. So thank you for your attention. The next programme on the list is the Masters in Orthopaedic Surgery. The programme lead for this is actually travelling to India on business at the moment, and so he has recorded a presentation which I'm going to play back for you now. So Professor Arpit Jarawala has provided this presentation, and can somebody please wave to me to confirm that you can hear Arpit, because I think I have shared my system sound, but if somebody can confirm that for me, I'd be grateful.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Arpit Jarawala. I'm the director of the MCH Orth course in Dundee, Scotland, and I'm also an upper limb and trauma consultant in NHS stateside. I'll briefly tell you about the MCH Orth course. MCH Orth course has been running in Dundee for the last 30 years, and we have now 430 alumni. This is a super specialty orthopedic course where almost all our students are postgraduates who have done orthopedics for some time, or junior consultants who want to come and learn more. Our target audience, most of our students are from India, but we've had students from Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Middle East, Malaysia, and US. How do the students come to us? So the students mostly are postgraduates. They have done their MS Orthopedics or DNB Orthopedics, or some of them have done MBBS and our postgraduate qualification called MS Orth, and few years of orthopedic experience, and they come to us. What is the MCH Orth course structure? So most of their time is spent on learning orthopedics with lectures and workshops, and then they have clinical attachment nearly every day in NHS, whether it's clinics, theatres, trauma theatres, or ward. The NHS attachment, we have permission from GMC for them to act as observers and also scrub in, and hence they go to clinics, go to trauma theatres, they go to trauma meetings, and where they can learn about decision making. In NHS Tayside, we are a polytrauma center and we have all the specialities, and hence any specialities that the students want to learn, it's available. Teaching is done by national and international lecturers who have been vetted by the team, and all faculties are consultant with subspecialty interest with good teaching records. One of the highlights of our course is Thiel cadaveric course, where we have anatomy sessions, upper limb approaches, and hip and knee and foot and ankle cadaveric workshop. And this is one of the things that the students really enjoy. Thank you very much for your time for listening to us. And my colleague, Mr. Sadiq Nasir, is there today to answer any questions. But if there are any questions later on, please email us to mch@dundee.ac.uk. Many thanks.
Okay, so the next presentation is going to be from our colleagues in the Centre for Medical Education. So Kate and Cabral, Kate, you mentioned that I have the wrong slides for this. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then if you are happy to share your screen, then you can progress with your presentation as soon as you're ready.
Yeah, okay.
Kate, if you just try to initialize sharing, that should overtake me.
Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, so hello, and thank you for coming along this morning to hear about our courses. I'm Kate Kennedy from the Centre for Medical Education, and along with my colleague, Dr. Cabral Karan Abdullah, we're going to be talking about two courses that we run from the Centre for Medical Education. So that would be the part-time online Masters in Medical Education and a new and revised full-time on-campus program, which is called the MSc in Health Professions Education. So just a little bit about who we are. We are a long-established Centre for Medical Education. Our programs have been running for 40 years. We're led by Professor Susie Schofield, who's a CME director. I'm the program lead for the on-campus provision, and we also have Dr. Mandy Moffat, who is the distance learning program lead. So here's just a wee photo of a few of us. And we also have, alongside ourselves, the Learning Design Experience team led by Mr. Usman Ahmad, and the Professional Services team led by Mrs. Sharon McMillan. So who are our students? Well, our students come from all over the world, as you can see from this map. Our distance learning program, we have representation from a wide range of countries and also a large cohort from the UK. And our face-to-face degrees are largely international students, but we're sometimes joined with UK students as well. Our students are mostly clinicians. They come from a wide range of different specialties within medicine, but we also have dentists, nurses, and pharmacists who've joined us for the program. And I think also vets. We've also had vets too. We also have non-clinicians who join us. So they may be people who are associated with health professions education. They may be academics who are involved in teaching health professions education but aren't clinicians themselves. And we have students from a wide variety of different career stages. So we mostly have early to mid-career students who are becoming increasingly involved in medical education, but we also have some more experienced clinicians who want to refresh their skills or update their skills as well. So I'll hand over now to Cabral, who will talk about the distance learning program.
Thank you so much, Kate. With that overview, we'll look at the Masters in Medical Education Distance Learning program structure. Now, it offers busy health professionals flexibility by allowing planned breaks between the module. So each award level, that's the PG Cert, PG Diploma, as well as the Masters, can be completed in 1 year. However, the students are given up to 2 years per level. Students can fast track by taking 2 modules at once with permission from the program director. The core module for diploma can be taken anytime after learning and teaching and principle of assessment. That's the core modules to allow for maximum flexibility in student choices. There are 2 intakes per year, one in January and the other one is in September. So all optional online classes are actually recorded for later access. So each 20 credit module is about 12 weeks long. So all materials are available from day 1, allowing study flexibility. Next slide, Kate. Thank you. This gives an overview of the Masters in Medical Education part-time on distance learning. So on the PG Cert medical education, we have the core modules, learning and teaching and principle of assessment, and obviously the optional module. So the optional module can be clinical teaching and its specialty, which could include surgery, general practice, anesthetics, dentistry, radiology, oncology. And we also have simulation for specialty routes, as well as technology enhanced learning. As for the diploma in medical education, we have curriculum planning and evaluation, leading innovation and change in health professional education and medical education research. As for the master's route, we have 2 special routes. That's the scholarship route as well as the research route. So the medical education research, as you've seen in diploma, becomes mandatory for students in order to go on to the research route, which is a dissertation by 60 credits. And as for the scholarship route, we have a module called Linking Theory to Practice, a self-directed learning project, which is again 60 credits. So it's all about students planning out personal learning goals for any project they wish to take, any self-directed project or anything they wish to do. So they set out their personal learning goals and then carry it out. Next slide, please, Kate. So as I mentioned, the 20 credit module, the core modules are learning and teaching, principle of assessment, curriculum planning and leadership for diploma, and medical education research for the masters. And the optional modules are clinical teaching and the specialties, as I mentioned earlier, simulation for healthcare education and practice, and technology enhanced learning. Next slide. So this is an overview of the 20 credit module structure, timeline, and resources. So week 1, we have the module content. So it runs from week 1 to week 12, where we have the module content. We have also activities with reflections and set readings. We have formative activities. There are also discussion boards, live classrooms, and also recordings as well. By week 10, it's where the content ends, and week 12, we have the summative assignment deadline, and after that is followed by the resubmission deadline. So we have an extensive amount of activities. We have external resources, YouTube, Grey literature, extra PowerPoints, webinar possibilities, library resources, workbook of slides, transcripts, and tasks. Over to you, Kate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cabral. So I just want to talk quickly about a new program that we're launching in September 25, which will be called the MSc Health Professions Education. Now, this is a full-time on-campus program, and it's replacing our current full-time on-campus program, which is called the Masters in Medical Education. We're revising the content and the ways in which the modules are being delivered. So we're moving from 20 credit modules to 30 credit modules, and the emphasis is on having much more practical experience. So it will be supported and underpinned by theory, but it's about having much more practical experience than the current program provides. So in the same as the distance learning program, there's 3 entry and exit points. So you can apply to do the postgraduate certificate, a postgraduate diploma, or to do the full masters. The certificate takes place September to December, and you will cover at that level principles of healthcare education, which looks at all aspects to do with teaching, learning, and assessment, followed by a module which is called scholarship, research, and engagement in health education. So this is about looking at developing research skills, skills in scholarship and in engagement, looking at the impact of health education. For the diploma level, that takes place January to April. You will do that after having completed the certificate, and you will have 2 modules at that level, teaching, design, delivery, and professional practice, which is about applying some of the skills that you've developed from the certificate level into practice, and a module called leading innovation and change in healthcare education, which is about looking at some of the new developed in teaching, but also developing leadership skills as well. And the final phase takes place from May till August, which is about developing a research project and writing this up. The emphasis here, it's called the dissertation module, but it's looking at multiple skills. So you have research is written up as a research paper. It's presented as a poster, so it's looking at some of those practical skills as well, alongside implementing research skills. So our on-campus delivery is face-to-face. We have timetable tutorials with experienced faculty within the School of Medicine for each module. We run workshops 3 days a week, for 3 hours, so you have quite a lot of face-to-face contact. There's also peer learning that you get from having an international cohort of students. This is one of the valuable aspects that our students always comment on, is the extent to which they can learn from each other and their experiences of teaching and learning. There's also time for self-directed learning. So what we try to do is to allow you to make build networks and contacts within the medical school and the wider university, and to negotiate opportunities to observe and learn from others. So that could be within our undergraduate medical education program, or within other schools, and also outside agencies such as the Association for Medical Education in Europe, which is based in Dundee. We're trying to build this aspect of having practical engagement in teaching, learning, and assessment, and also involvement with our on-campus research community. So we're building a strong cohort within Dundee between our masters and our PhD students, as well as academic staff as well. So for each of the modules, for each of the courses, I should say, both the distance learning and the face-to-face.
Kate?
Too long.
I'm very sorry to interrupt, but can you try and wrap up in another minute or so, please? Last minute, yeah.
So this one, I was just going to mention that it's all there's no exams in this course. It's all done by formative and summative assessments, and they get ample opportunity to get feedback on your assessments before you reach the summative stage. And that was the end of that. So thank you very much. I'm sorry for going slightly over, and I will stop sharing now.
Sorry for interrupting you in your.
That's okay.
Okay, I apologise. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again now, and the next speaker will be from Applied Neuroscience. So Stephen, I think. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes. So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So Thank you very much, Andrew. So my name's Steve Martin, and I'm the program lead for the Applied Neuroscience MSc course. I'm not seeing the slides at the moment on my screen. I can see the pointer. That's it. Yes. So that's great. So next slide then, please. So the Applied Neuroscience MSc, I guess the main purpose of this program is to allow students with undergraduate degrees in related subjects to neuroscience, and that would include biological sciences, biomedical sciences, or psychology in particular, to convert to a career in neuroscience. Now, I wouldn't want to bill this entirely or just as a conversion course. We also have students who studied neuroscience before and want to go into things in more detail. But we certainly do have a lot of students who are coming from related subjects, but are wanting to move in a neuroscience direction. And to let them do this, we start with a Foundations in Neuroscience module that covers the fundamentals of the brain and nervous system that these students will need. And we also cover a range of core topics in basic as well as translational neuroscience. And that includes the neurobiology of psychiatric illness and neurodegenerative disorders. And these are two areas that we find that our students are particularly interested in. And then at the end of the program, in the final academic session, the students do a 4-month research project, which allows them to get some experience of doing lab-based research and do something that will be aligned with their future career plans. Next slide, please. So just to give a little bit more information about the course, so the students are taught by non-clinical as well as clinical neuroscientists, and this will include people based at the Nine Wells Hospital campus, as well as the City campus, including the School of the Life Sciences building, which you can see on the right-hand side there. And even though we have teaching from clinical neuroscientists, I should emphasize that it's not a clinical course. And I think the fact that it's hosted by the School of Medicine is sometimes misleading there. It's not a vocational course that qualifies students to do anything in terms of clinical practice. It's an academic neuroscience course, which encompasses translational neuroscience, but it is for people interested in neuroscience as a discipline rather than clinical practice. So the core topics then include a module on the scientific method and statistical analysis, the mechanisms of memory formation, Alzheimer's disease and neurodegenerative disorders, the neurobiology of pain, analgesia, addiction, and psychiatric illness, and also some of the advanced technologies that are used in neuroscience research today. And we also have the possibility of students doing optional modules in psychology if they want to take their neuroscience knowledge in a slightly different direction. So next slide, please. So what do our students go on to do? Well, we find that a large number of our students are interested in a fairly conventional academic career pathway. So they often want to go on and do PhD research and postdoctoral research after their study. Some of them are interested in private sector research, for example, work in the pharmaceutical industry. But that's not the only pathway that people follow. I guess the other route is what on the right-hand side are kind of broadly lumped under healthcare related roles. And these might include students who go on to find jobs in companies doing screening work, biological testing, and so on, but also other roles like technical roles within healthcare itself. These are not the only options. There are also jobs for neuroscientists or people with a neuroscience background in publishing, science communication, and academic and research funding and administration. Next slide, please. So this gives the overall structure of the course, just to summarize it. So we have a 3 academic session structure. In the first semester, the students will learn about statistics and scientific methods. They'll also be doing the Foundations in Neuroscience module. And then we have mechanisms of disorders of memory. In the second semester, we have translational research, advanced technologies in neuroscience. And then we have a module where students will prepare a research proposal for the final summer academic session. And in this, they will do a 4-month, usually lab-based project. At the bottom here, I've got some of the optional modules in psychology that are also available to students, particularly if students have a fair amount of neuroscience experience already. Next slide, please. So the final part of the program then is this summer academic session, the 4-month research project. Here, students will usually do a lab-based project where they'll be embedded within a research group, and they will spend their time in the lab finding out what it's like to do neuroscience research. If things go well, they'll obviously be working with a supervisor who will then be able to give them advice about future jobs and write references and so on. There are various options for this. Not every project is lab-based. There are literature review, meta-analysis options, or questionnaire-based projects available. And so there's a lot of flexibility there, and we will work both with students as well as potential supervisors to try and match students up to the best project. So that's all I wanted to cover for now. So thank you very much. I'll be happy to take questions at the end.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Thank you for that. We've still got a few presentations to go before we're going to take any questions. The next speaker will be about the Masters in Science and Health Communication. So, Laureano, I think you have joined us.
Hi there. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. Can we go to the next? There you go. Okay. So hello, everyone. I'm Laureano de la Vega, and I'm one of the program leads for the Science and Health Communication Masters. There you go. So this is a master that is fairly new. So this is the second year of this master. So this is a master that we put together because we found that there is a need for this kind of, one second, let me just reduce this because I cannot see the slides. There is a need for this, for people with this set of skills. I'm a scientist, and we train a lot of scientists, and they have those skills, but we don't provide normally the skills to communicate. And there are a lot of people that they know how to communicate, but maybe they don't have the scientific background. So basically, what we are doing here is to provide the scientific background and the skills that you need to communicate. There is a need for a lot of industries and companies. They need people with this set of skills, and so we found that there is not enough programs that provide this set of skills. So we put together this program. Career opportunities, as you see there, so include maker, writer, scientific publishing, healthcare communication, media officer, public engagement professional. And we put this program together with an industry partner, which is Amiculum, which is a medical writing and healthcare comms agency. So basically, with them, we know what the industry needs, and basically the idea of this program is to increase employability. So basically, we are giving you the skills that you will need in the real world to get a job in this kind of industries. So it's quite a hands-on experience program. It includes a 10-week placement opportunity, which is actually, I think, is one of the points that it will help you to get this exposure to the real world and to give you this set of skills. You go to the next one. So in this program, we cover some important key areas. So that includes communication skills, audience profiling, graphic design, and storytelling, and communication through social media. But in this program, it's not only about communication, but it's scientific and healthcare communication. So we make sure that you have the background, that you understand some key topics that you need to know to be able to actually to communicate your whatever job you end up doing. So, and we cover many of these things in the, as you can see here, we cover clinical trials. So this is one of the main points of this program. So you will get a great training in clinical trials. We have a big department here focused on clinical trials. You will get a great training and great exposure to all clinical trials, everything about clinical trials. So you will get also basics for disease, current therapeutics, drug discovery. So you will get a quite comprehensive training, this kind of holistic approach, so that you understand everything, basically. Next one. So this is the course overview. We have 3 semesters. During the first semester, we have 3 modules, 20 credits each. The first one is about science. So basically, we will provide you all the knowledge and the background so you understand the science and the health landscapes with a lot of focus on clinical trials or statistics, things like that. And then we will go into more writing and communication and tools that you will need. And the second semester is about communication marketing, communication industries, the companies and contemporary issues, and then digital and visual communication. So basically, after these 2 semesters, you will have the skills that you need. And semester 3, you will have either a master's placement in an industry or a project, depending on whether well, it's your choice. It's the student's choice. Next one. So, and this is, so basically, the reason why I think Dundee is a great place to do this program is because the University of Dundee is the first one in Scotland and only the 3rd one in the UK to receive a very prestigious prize, like a gold watermark, which is called gold watermark in recognition of its commitment to public engagement. So we have the expertise, and we do this together with different schools. So the School of Life Science, School of Medicine, of course, and then the School of Art and Design, and together with our partners in the industry, Amicus. So we have the expertise to do this. Is a great place to learn all these skills. Next one. So this is one of the I think one of the more attractive points for this program, which is that the industry placement. So we have many organizations, national and international, that are offering placements. So we have charities or healthcare and medical communication companies or medical device companies. And this is the 3rd semester. As I said, this is a 10-week placement. You will have a project and you will have real work experience. So, and you will interact with people in the company. So this is a great way to make contacts, to learn the job that you might want to do. And it's exposure to the real world and to learn new skills even. So the companies are they really enjoy having the students there. So you see here is a quotation from the Diane Owen. This is the director of Weber Shandwick. It's a healthcare and medical comms company, and you see that it's important for them because it allows the companies also to connect with potential early career candidates. So it's really good for students because basically you are making new contacts. Okay, next one. So this is just a summary of the program. This is a 12-month course. It's in person here in Dundee, the School of Medicine and School of Life Science.
Laureano, can you please try to wrap up in another 1 minute, please? Yeah,
this is the last one. So this is open to applicants from a diverse range of backgrounds. You have, science, healthcare, and communication media. As I said, there is a 10-week placement opportunity, and the career opportunities include, as I said before, medical writer, scientific publishing. So you have them there. That's me, I think. Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy to answer questions later.
Okay, thank you very much, Laureano. Our next talk, we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 program talks to go. So thank you all, everybody online, for your patience while we go through this suite of programs. I hope you're finding it interesting. Our next speaker is from the Master's Provision in Public Health. So Jennifer's with us. Jennifer, just let me know when you want the slides progressed.
Okay, hang on a few seconds, that's fine. Okay, if you can move on a slide, please, that would be fine. So the Master of Public Health has been running at the University of Dundee for over 40 years, and with approval of paperwork, the MPH Palliative Care Research was introduced in 2012. Many applicants on personal statements say they wish to make a difference in the world, and the field of public health is a good place to start. Communities, local, national, and on an international scale, all face health issues. And being equipped with the knowledge and practical skills needed to tackle these problems is hugely important, hence the MPH or more specialised MPH PCR. If you can change the slide, please. Our MPH programme focuses on epidemiological and statistical concepts, as well as understanding the principles and strategies of health promotion that are applicable to public health practice and research around the globe. It doesn't matter where you end up in the world, you'll learn how to carry out and design public health research. The students will also have the chance to learn about the underlying principles, theories, concepts and practices of ethnography and its application to healthcare delivery and improvement. If you're thinking about choosing the more specialised MPH PCR, this is an important part of healthcare across the globe. And with this programme, students will learn about the challenges facing PCR and how clinical research can be undertaken by using public health principles within the context of palliative care. The palliative care team in Tayside work collaboratively with the Tayside Palliative and End of Life Care Network and the Tayside Specialist Palliative Care Service. And as a student on the programme, you may be given the opportunity from interactions with this network of stakeholders. However, this is a specialised degree programme and applicants should be working or thinking of working within palliative care. You can change the slide, please. So the modules that are covered are very similar for both programmes. So the MPH students cover public health, an introduction to clinical statistics, epidemiology, health promotion and research methods, and that's your 5 core modules. And then they choose one of 3 optional modules: applied epidemiology, applied statistics with observational studies and clinical trials, and ethnography for public health research and improvement. And this is followed by a 60-credit dissertation overtaken in the 3rd semester. The MPH PCR do introduction to clinical statistics, epidemiology, research methods, ethnography for public health research and improvement. They do a palliative care module, and then they do an 80-credit dissertation, which during the 3rd semester, which finishes off their degree. There's lots of guest speakers from both NHS and uni, as well as module leads delivering these sessions. So you get a good variety of people and different delivery methods. You can change the slide, please. So where do our students go? That's quite a difficult question to answer. Public health is a very generalist profession, and if students join us, they will see that almost any aspect of health can be declared to be public health. That means that people come from and go back to a huge variety of different places. We have doctors, we have dentists, we have microbiologists, nurses, people from physical sciences and life sciences. We have people who have recently graduated, people who have completed previous master's work. We've had people who've been working in a career for 20 years, who've come out of that career to come and do the MPH and to go back either into a different career path or a more advanced managerial role in the career that they were in before. So we have a huge variety of people in this setting. Just to give you some examples, the stepping stone can take you into many different careers. There are a few bullet points at the bottom of this slide. Quite a few of our students will go on to undertake further academic studies, so to do a PhD, and that is an opportunity that is open provided you do well enough in your dissertation. Some go on to do further master's level study in research rather than top masters. There are occasionally research assistant posts in Dundee, but if you don't want to stay in Dundee, then there are career paths is definitely one that is open to follow in other areas. Many return to a vocation that they already had. So over the years, we've had students come from many countries, British Council scholars, for example, and students from Africa who have come from a government-funded post, perhaps within the Ministry of Health, for example, to gain extra knowledge and skills, and then to return to that post and conduct public health research in their country of origin. One of our past students became the Minister of Health in Rwanda. Many also go to work with global NGOs. Next slide, please. So applicants use the MPH as a way to something else, to a different kind of career. And we would love to see students from across the globe join us. If you use MPH applications at dundee.ac.uk, and I'll answer any questions at the end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Our next two speakers come from related programmes, and so we're joined by Federica and Zoe, who will talk about human clinical embryology and assisted conception, and then clinical embryology and in vitro fertilisation. So first to Federica, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Federica Lopez, and I lead the Master in Human Clinical Embryology and Assisted Conception, which is a successful course that's been running for the past 10 years. There are a number of key elements that set this course apart from the others in the field. So first of all, we have a high level of practical exposures to laboratory techniques in an environment that reproduces the real clinical scenario. So in our andrology lab, students learn to handle human sperm and perform accurate semen analysis and prepare sperm for other procedures. And in our embryology lab, they learn how to work with the female gametes. But thanks to the strong link that we have with assisted conception unit within the hospital where we are located, all our students have the opportunity to meet with the clinicians, clinical embryologists, nurses, to discuss real clinical cases. And crucially, they follow one real patient or couple throughout their fertility journey. Additionally, our course is one of the few really is offering training on business and innovation in IVF ART field. And this is very important for all those students to come with already some entrepreneurial mindsets. For example, we have students who are considering to develop their own business or to open their own clinic. And this has happened to a number of our alumni that come through our course. Next slide, please. So our students really come from all over the world. They have a very diverse background. They span from fresh graduates in medicine, biological, biomedical, biotechnological science, but we also welcome nursing, graduates, midwife, chemistry, students with chemistry degree. We also have a number of professionals really working in the field of reproductive medicine, such as clinicians, gynecologists, and embryologists. What they all share in common is really they're determined to embrace a profession in reproductive medicine. So we provide them at the start with all the fundamental knowledge in reproductive science. We then guide them in developing their first laboratory skills, and we show them how to use equipment. And also during this course, the students have the opportunity to engage with world-class leaders in the field during the Distinguished Speakers Series. And also they have the opportunity to be networking with the other professionals in the field. For example, if they attend the Scottish Annual Conference for Reproductive Medicine that we host every year in Dundee, which attracts speakers and delegates from all over Scotland, the UK, but also guest speakers from Europe and other parts of the world. Our students also have the opportunity to engage with top quality research in the field of male and female infertility with our research team. And during their research project, they really put their knowledge developed so far into creating new knowledge. but also they engage with industry, for example, when we organize and invite industry to run workshops with us. So what happens after the graduation? So the majority of our graduates find a job in reproductive medicine, both in the UK, but also back in their home country. Some of them will continue with further education in a PhD and some in another career path. But most importantly, we pride ourselves having created a strong alumni community with over 200 graduates so far that have a very strong relationship and which lasts much longer after the graduation. And all our students are encouraged to join this community and be part of it. So I'm happy to take any question at the end of this presentation or via email if you wish to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Federica. We'll now pass to Zoe for our related talk to clinical embryology and in vitro fertilization. Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you, Andrew. So this is our distance learning option in reproductive medicine. So Federica has already spoken about our successful face-to-face course, and we also have a newly launched, so this is our second year of running the distance learning course. So this is an online distance learning course that is part-time to allow flexibility for students who are already working in the field of reproductive medicine, who require an academic qualification to further progress their career. Sorry, I am losing my voice, so hopefully it holds out for the rest of these few minutes. Next slide, please, Andrew. So as I said, this is the part-time distance learning course. So this is a course with one entry point in August of each year, but 3 exit points. So students can work towards their postgraduate certificate, their postgraduate diploma, or an MSc, depending on their career goals. So what they need to progress in their career. It is part-time over 3 years if they want to do the full MSc. And the students who come to us are a mixture of doctors, nurses, scientists, aspiring embryologists who already have a foot in the door of the career in reproductive medicine. So they already have access to the practical hands-on learning. And if they don't, we also offer complimentary short courses through the summer that is an optional extra. The course runs through a tailored virtual learning environment. So this is a bespoke learning environment that is run by our learning design experience team. And this provides all of the information upfront for learners to allow them the flexibility to learn at their own pace. And all optional extras are also recorded to allow them to learn at their own pace. If they choose to do the full 3 years, the third year is focused around research. So this gives students opportunity to take the skills and learning that they have developed over the first 2 years and apply it to a research project that aligns with their career goals and interests. Next slide, please, Andrew. Just like the face-to-face course, this is taught by a broad range of staff with a wealth of scientific and clinical expertise in human reproductive biology, clinical embryology, and assisted conception. We also have strong clinical and laboratory links to our NHS service, and this allows us to film cases. So where the face-to-face course, the students can interact with patients, we can, on the distance learning course, follow patient cases through videos and film. Teaching material builds on the successful face-to-face full-time course. So the study materials follow the same logical progression through all of the information that a student would need to have a strong foundation in reproductive medicine. And we also have a bespoke induction module to help students adjust to the realities of learning online at a where they may have studied in person previously or may have been out of education for quite some time. And we also have access to guest lectures from international experts, and some of these are actually alumni from the face-to-face course that Federica mentioned. So we continue to build that community by inviting our successful students back to give lectures about their own careers as they've progressed. This is a new course, so we don't have much information about what our learners go on to do, but as most of our learners are already embedded within reproductive medicine, we hope that they will go on and continue to work successfully in their chosen career. And next slide, please, Andrew. And most of the information, including entry requirements, are on the website, but we also, I just want to draw your attention to our dedicated email address that is there on the screen for any questions if we don't have time to ask them in this call. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zoe, and thank you to all the speakers so far. There is one programme talk remaining, which is from another excellently named gentleman, Andrew Brown, and he's going to finish off the programme talks with health data science and applied precision medicine. Thank you, Andrew.
Hello, am I up? Okay. Hi. Thank you very much, Andrew. So I'm a course director on the Health Data Science for Applied Precision Medicine, and there's a lot of words in our title, but I think the word I'd like to highlight is applied. So if you could go to the next slide, Andrew. So the thing that I think is really unique about the course, and I think we're the only course in the world that does this, is we use real-world healthcare data. So this is data from NHS Tayside, and this data is an amazing resource. It's contributed to thousands of very high impact papers over the last 20 years. I think every kind of international genetics consortium has used it at some point. And the course is really meant to go from the beginning to the end. So what do you need in terms of data governance and ethics to access real-world healthcare data? How do you analyze it? How do you present results? And how do you make it meaningful for patients? So it is very much an applied course, and you're taught to use R and Python to apply statistical models, machine learning to various data types. So we have the patient records, we have the genomics, we have omics, we have imaging data. And the real key is, where do we get the benefit from this? So how can you stratify patients? How can you identify the ones that will respond well to a certain treatment? How do you predict who is at risk of developing disease? How do you choose the drug that's going to be most effective for people? How do you better understand how people get disease? And what are the options of treatment for the patients? So if we could go to the next slide. So in terms of the modules, we have precision medicine principles and practice. And this is basically an overview of the field. So this is where you learn, how is precision medicine making cancer outcomes better? How are we identifying the hospital-derived infections that are putting patients at risk? And then we have the fundamentals of applied data science, where what are the requirements for the MRC if you want to get access to healthcare data science? How do we access it? How do we extract what we want? We're beginning to learn R and how do you analyze data? And then in epidemiology, we're going more on the models. So what is it? What is your question and how do you answer it? And then in semester 2, we have advanced health data science, which is going further on the statistics, developing R programming to a greater extent, learning how genetics can predict people that are at risk, and also understand disease. So how can we find the links between, say, cholesterol and heart attacks? And then we have machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is largely focused on imaging. So if you have a picture of a retina, and we have about 70,000 available to us on the course, how can you extract the features that will predict people that are high risk of stroke from looking at retinal images and applying machine learning to this? And then research methods, which is basically leading into the dissertation. So in research methods, we're interested in how do you put together a grant? How do you frame a research question? And how do you start planning for what you're going to do to answer that question? And that really leads into the research dissertation. And those, we're very much focused on the student and what their interest is. So I think in the last few years, I've supervised dissertations on what is the impact of climate change on the human genome, or which are the genes that drive apoptosis in cell lines. So it's incredibly varied, But because we have a lot of research active people in Dundee, if you have a particular passion, we can usually accommodate it. Next slide, please. This is all of us. I hate that picture that I've used, and since I put together the slides, I have no one to blame but myself. But that's me. So thank you, Andrew. I think this is an overview of everything I've tried to talk about. I think in terms of where people go, a lot of our students are very keen on following up and doing more research. They want to look into doing PhD programs. And I think the dissertation is an important part of this. If you can get something in your area, and I think it's quite easy for us to do that because, so for example, I work quite a lot on omics. So if you want to go on and do a PhD in proteomics or transcriptomics, we can kind of facilitate that. I think imaging analysis and machine learning is another area that people want to do. Otherwise, data analysis. And I think the key thing is from this course, you are certified to access real-world healthcare data, and you've learned R and a little bit of Python, so you have the tools to go on and do that.
Are you coming towards the end, Andrew? Have I potentially inherited the wrong slide? I think I've got a few more slides. Do you want me to click through, or is that you coming towards the end and I've maybe
No, I didn't expect to get that slide, so I think I'm actually done. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'll just click through these last couple. Oh, that was the last one, in fact. There we go. Okay, so thank you, everybody. That's us. We've reached the end of the presentation component of this morning's webinar. I've just put up on the screen a reminder of the programs that you have heard from. So we started off with orthopedic technology, motion analysis and movement rehabilitation, followed by a recording from Prof. Jarawala and the Masters in Orthopedic Surgery. Kate and Cabral talked to us about the Centre for Medical Education and their offerings in medical education and for healthcare professionals. We then heard from Steve in Applied Neuroscience from Laureano and Science and Health Communication. Jennifer spoke to us about public health, and then Federica and Zoe covered the 2 programs available from the Human Reproductive Medicine group. And then Andrew finished off with health data science and applied precision medicine. So now we've got about 22 minutes remaining, I think. If there are any questions from our audience, then all speakers are still online, and I think we'll be very happy to take your questions. I'll stop sharing my slides so that you can see people's faces if they're able to put their cameras back on. Jonathan and Andrew, I'm not sure whether or not you've received any questions. If you're able to chair or moderate if there's anything coming through.
Yeah, gladly. So there's been one question that's come in so far, and it's about research intensive programs. So it's from Marianne. To get into research intensive programs, do we have any prerequisites to meet the entry requirements? I'm not sure if any colleagues would be happy to take that.
Okay, so Mariam, if you want to, please do let us know if there's any specific programs that you're interested in. I'll try and give a little bit of an answer, and I'm very happy for my colleagues to jump in and either add to or correct what I say. All of the programs in the division have a component of research, and there is a requirement for all students at master's level to complete a substantive independent research project. The entry requirements for each program should be clearly stated on the websites, and each program team is also generally very happy to engage with applicants, with inquirers about their previous qualifications, experience and training. I don't think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, colleagues, I don't think that anybody has got specific entry requirements that indicate that one must have substantial experience in research. But there is an expectation for some experience in terms of academic learning and training and experience. So if anybody wants to add to that, please do. I'll put my microphone off, and then if nobody adds, then we'll hear the next question.
I think from the point of view of our program, we look to have a 2-1 in a related degree, but we look very much at someone's experience. So if they have worked in healthcare, then we weight that quite highly, and we'll consider people with lower qualifications.
Great. Yeah, thank you for saying that, Andrew. I do think that that's probably true of all, many, if not most, if not all of the programs, is that we are keen to hear from people who are keen to study with us, and therefore we can review applications on a case-by-case basis. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, there's one more question that's come in from Humair that I'm happy to address. So Humair has asked about the per year fees, initial deposit, and payment plans. So first of all, deposits for most programs, Humair, it's a £5,000 deposit. However, a couple of programs that we have addressed today do have a slightly different requirement. So for MSc Human Clinical Embryology and for the orthopedic surgery program, we do require a 50% deposit payment. For other programs, however, it's typically £5,000. Payment plan, there's various options available. Quite a popular one is the 7-month payment plan. So at point of enrollment, no further payment is generally required. Instead, what is needed is that you agree a payment plan with university, and the 7-month one is quite popular. As for per year fees, the best thing to do with this is to look at each course webpage, particularly for programs here in the School of Medicine, because fees can vary program by program.
I think I would just add one thing to that, which, if I've understood the term per year fee correctly, not all, but the majority of the programs are 1 year. There are some programs that extend, and especially if you study things part-time, it will be perhaps over 2 or even 3 years. But most of the programs actually only exist for 1 year.
Yep, that's a good point.
Exist? That's a strange word to use. You know what I mean.
Offered,
Sorry.
yeah.
Jonathan, do you want to continue on also about scholarships? Because there's another question about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to speak on scholarships. So we do have scholarships available, and they are mainly for taught master's programs, with a few exceptions. And the scholarship also has 2 main criteria points. One being the part of the world that you're looking to join us from, and the other being your academic grades. So I know that we have quite a few in the audience that have joined us from South Asia. So to give that example, for most programs, students from South Asia will receive a scholarship worth £6,500 that will be deducted from their tuition fees. If students have the equivalent of a first-class bachelor's, which is, for example, maybe a GPA of 3.5 out of 4 or equivalent, then the scholarship is increased to £7,500. And this is available for January and for September, with most programs in the School of Medicine next being available in September 2025. Key point to remember is I did say for most taught programs, the exceptions come when we look at part-time study, and the undergraduate medicine program is also one that's not applicable. Same scholarships are available for students perhaps joining us from Africa, and we do have scholarships available for those from Southeast Asia and other parts of the world, although they are slightly different in value. In most cases, these are automatic and will be arranged by colleagues in admissions and scholarships after your application has been submitted.
Thanks, Jonathan. I've also just put, for everybody in the Zoom chat area, I've put a link to the university's main scholarships webpage. There are links to information about scholarship on each of the programme pages from within the fees and funding area. And so please do look into those. As Jonathan says, the majority of scholarships will be applied automatically upon receipt of an offer for a suitable candidate. It's also worth mentioning, I would say, that there are other sources of scholarships available to people. So the ones that I've linked here in the chat are the ones that are offered by the University of Dundee. But there are other scholarship schemes which are available to applicants from around the world. And so if you're considering coming to Scotland to study at Dundee, it's worth looking at those other opportunities for it as early as possible, because some of them do have quite early application deadlines. So more information can be found by contacting the dedicated scholarships team.
Yep. Thanks, Andrew. There's another question that's come in, and it's related to neuroscience. So Mariam asks, in neuroscience courses, do we have the optional module to study neurological basis of clinical disorders like PTSD, etc., other than neurodegenerative ones? I'm wondering if a colleague can perhaps pick this one up.
Yes, I'm happy to take that one. So we have a translational neuroscience module that has a strong focus on psychiatric disorders. This includes schizophrenia and depression. We don't actually cover PTSD at the moment, but certainly psychiatric disorders are a focus of the program, as well as neurodegenerative disorders, and that's also the research interests of people reflect that. So there are kind of strengths in both of those areas, basically.
Thank you, Stephen. There's a couple other questions that have come in that I'm happy to address. One is regarding credibility interview or pre-CAS interview. Thank you for sending that in, Humair. So for most students, as long as they are working with one of our agent partners and the application is tagged to one of our partners, then there is no need for the credibility interview or pre-CAS interview. These applications can be tagged when they're initially submitted, or they can also be submitted further down the line. Please do just get in touch with myself, my colleague Andrew Hamilton, or any others from the globalization and engagement team. There's also a question about gap acceptance and visa refusals. Gap acceptance, at Dundee we have a flexible 5-year policy. So ideally you have studied within the past 5 years. However, we do look at this on a case-by-case basis. We do realise that perhaps you've been out of education longer than 5 years, but you've been working in a relevant field, and you do have a CV and a resume that would still be attractive to come and study here at Dundee. So a flexible policy. And as for visa refusals, similarly, it's on a case-by-case basis. If you're unsure about a prospective student, again, please do get in touch with myself, Andrew Hamilton, or one of the international colleagues, and we can give a bit of feedback before any application is submitted, if that would be reassuring to you.
Can I just add one thing to that before we go to the next question with regard to the gap acceptance? And just to restate and re-emphasize what you said and what we've mentioned previously, that all of the programs are keen to hear from people who believe themselves to be suitably qualified and are keen to pursue the programs. We recognise that because this is master study, because it is postgraduate more than undergraduate, we may well receive people where there's been a substantial gap. And we're very keen to look at all applications, and the School of Medicine handles applications in a decentralised fashion from the university. So the university policies do apply, but within the School of Medicine, within our programmes, we have got broad authority on who we wish to make offers to. And so all applications can be considered.
Thank you, Andrew. There is a question that's come in from Atika. What are the entry requirements for the MSc Health and Data Science for Applied Precision Medicine? What should be the prerequisite degrees? Wondering if a colleague can perhaps pick this one up.
Sure, I can talk about that. So I'm one of the course directors, and my original degree was in maths. And the other course director is Alex, who is a clinician who heads the stroke unit here in Dundee. And this mirrors the kind of people that we want to recruit. So the concept of this course is Alex has the skills to make the questions that are important to patients because he's seeing them every day. Me, with my maths background, I have the skills to answer those questions. And more research is becoming interdisciplinary. We need both types of people to actually do the work. And so we recruit from a very broad range of people. We want to take people from healthcare who study biology, who are clinicians. We get dentists, we get pharmacists, we get nurses. And at the same time, we want to take people with a more mathematical bent. So mathematicians, physicists, computer scientists. And the idea is that we want both sets of people to come and do this course. And I think in the early years, we were getting more people from the healthcare side. But as time has gone on, we are getting more and more computer scientists now. So it's getting to be more 50-50, which is exactly what we want.
Thank you very much, Andrew. A question has come in from Humer that I'm happy to address. Humer asks, are dependents allowed on MRes courses? And the answer is yes. We have around 7 MRes programs where students can bring dependents with them. And there is one available within the School of Medicine. It's MSc by Research in Medicine.
Yeah, I think it's important to distinguish that the presentations we've had today have been about the taught postgraduate division. So the specific programs that were spoken about today are not research programs. There's also a distinction to be made about what an MRes is. So an MRes can stand for either a Master of Research or a Masters by Research, according to the UK Quality Code. And so there is a difference between so-called top provision and research provision, which is relevant to Humer's question there. I'm just going to take the opportunity while I'm talking to say, in a moment, I'm going to paste the URL that links to every single program webpage into the chat area, so that our agent colleagues online can access those easily if they want to. I'm not sure if there's any other questions to field whilst I'm doing that.
No other questions at the moment, but we do ask attendees, if you do have anything that we can address, please do let us know.
Can I just add one point that we're also very often approached by applicants directly asking a specific question about the course and how it's run and what the entry criteria and so on. So if that's a possibility to encourage anyone that comes to your agency to really approach us academics directly, because we're happy to explain what this course about. It's a big decision and it's a big investment as well. So it's important that we provide as much information as possible to potential applicants to understand exactly whether that's the course for them, if we provide exactly what they're looking for. And sometimes it's also good for us to really have an idea who is interested, and so we're very keen to engage even before the application process. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, I think that's great, Federica. Thank you for adding that. And certainly that will be true of direct contact, either with academics or with generic and administrative email inboxes. But each program will also run a series of program-specific webinars throughout the year. And those can typically be accessed via the program web pages as well. If you go to a program web page, then quite often there'll be a banner along the top that says sign up for the program specific webinar. So you can let inquirers and interested parties as well as applicants know about those things so that they can find out more information. And you're welcome to join those as well. As agents, if you would be interested in joining any of the dedicated program specific webinars or drop-in sessions or question and answer sessions, then you're welcome to come along to learn more about our provision at a program level as well.
One other question has come in about, is bank statement essential to request for CAS? Thanks for submitting that, Humer. So If applications are tagged to one of our agent partners, then in most cases, we do not ask for the bank statement. We rely on our trusted partners to ensure that students do have adequate funds to meet UKVI visa application rules.
It looks like we might have exhausted our questions. So I'll just thank everybody again for joining the webinar, all of our agent colleagues online, as well as all of my University of Dundee colleagues who have configured and administered and set up this session, as well as all of the speakers and all of the programme teams. Thank you for your invaluable participation. I think that we had a really good audience today from all over the world, and hopefully we will have engendered some renewed interest in all of our programs, and we'll reap the benefit of that in terms of new engagement and new applications for next year and beyond. So thank you all very much for coming along this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are in the world.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, colleagues. Thanks, guests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.